Hi, my name is Emily Hawthorne. I'm a Middle East analyst here at Stratfor, and I'm with my colleague Roman Muzalevsky, an East Asia analyst at Stratfor. We're going to be talking about maritime security cooperation in Southeast Asia. So, Roman, what is the tri-border or the tri-seas area, and what about it is so difficult to protect?
Sure. So the tri-border area in Southeast Asia is the area which is enveloped by the Sulu and Celebes seas and also includes some areas, land areas, belonging to Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. It's an area that presents major security challenges for all three countries, as well as for other countries who rely on shipping lanes passing through that tri-border area. So, for example, in parts of the Philippines, in the southern Philippines, also in parts of Malaysia and parts of Indonesia, you have either insurgent groups or militant activity or criminal activity that actually impacts maritime security in that area.
So what kind of trade are we talking about here? What kind of goods and the volume of trade? What exactly characterizes the trade in this tri-seas area?
Good question. And unfortunately, a lot of emphasis has always been on Malacca Straits, which is understandable given the volume of trade passing through the Straits of Malacca, which also serves as a sort of connector between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. But make no mistake, the tri-border area of Southeast Asia is also very important. And it is important because many of the ships, heavy tankers and supertankers and freights actually use the tri-border area as well as other straits besides Malacca Strait to transit to the South China Sea as well as to Asia Pacific, because the Malacca Strait is a shallower strait and a narrow strait.
So with the Strait of Malacca, we know that it's very important. It's a critical shipping route, and there are various treaties that govern and are related to trade through the Strait of Malacca and the countries that rely on that trade. Are we seeing something of the same sort being formed with respect to the tri-seas or the tri-border area?
Well, interestingly, until about recently, we haven't really seen a lot of push by the regional countries to actually create something like that. However, with the recent incidents in March and April, which involved actually the hijacking of ships as well as the kidnappings of crew members of those ships, we are now seeing increased push by by Indonesian authorities, Malaysian authorities, and the Philippines authorities to actually create a maritime security framework of sorts for the tri-border area. And they're trying to model that cooperation on the model that has served well the Straits of Malacca, where Indonesia and Malaysia actually have experience cooperating with each other as well.
How well do the security forces of Malaysia and the Philippines and Indonesia cooperate? If they're going to be working on a maritime security cooperation agreement, hopefully they can work well together. What are some of the challenges that we'll see there?
Exactly right. So despite the fact that we're seeing this increased pressure on those governments to actually create a joint multilateral response to the security challenges in the tri-border area, we're also seeing great challenges in their way to actually organize that response. And that has to do obviously with history, because of the hostile policies that each of the countries had against each other in the past. We also know that those countries have very weak Coast Guard capabilities to actually enforce security along the coastlines and at the high seas as well. And we also know that those countries are very jealous of their sovereignty, just as many other countries are. And because they have a lot of unresolved maritime and border disputes, they find that cooperation a little bit problematic, even if necessary.
So we know that Washington is interested in helping out here, and Washington just committed some money, correct, to the formation of some sort of initiative or pact or agreement between these states. What exactly is that money for, and how is Washington interested in this area?
Right. So the United States is obviously hugely interested in the safety of the shipping lanes passing through the tri-border area, as well as through the Straits of Malacca in general. And along with Japan, has been trying to commit financial resources as well as institutional resources to enable those countries in the region to organize some sort of multilateral framework to deal with security threats in the tri-border area as well as other areas of Southeast Asia. However, with this recent initiative that they announced to the tune of about $400 million, they're not going to see much progress in the sense that the initiative is actually focused a lot on individual maritime surveillance capabilities of those countries. And legitimate as it is, it's primarily focused on the domain awareness capabilities for the South China Sea rather than for the Tri-border area, where you see Chinese military activities, sparking concerns in the region and beyond about freedom of navigation and security in South China Sea. So we've seen efforts of the United States and Japan to actually push and create a multilateral framework, but that's not working out exactly because those countries are very jealous of their sovereignty. They would like to lead the effort in creating that multilateral security response framework and not involve outside powers. However, this is not to say that they're not welcoming the support from those countries on a bilateral basis.
So you would say that while the focus has always been on the Strait of Malacca, and while some of the international focus is on the South China Sea, the tri-border, tri-seas area really is a region to watch.
Absolutely, it is a region to watch. And again, I mean, it's very legitimate that we see a lot of attention paid to the Straits of Malacca because the volume of trade passing through it is really significant. You see a lot of attention paid to the South China Sea for obvious reasons having to do with China's rise and activities there, as well as the United States response and Japanese response as well. But the tri-border area is still sort of on the fringes. Yes, it's not the point of a lot of trade passing through it, but it still serves a function. And the major function it serves right now is that it's already serving as an alternative route to the Straits of Malacca. And it also can accommodate ships which are heavier and cannot pass, for example, through the shallow and narrow Straits of Malacca.
Very interesting. This is definitely something we're going to be watching very closely in the months ahead. For more on the South China Sea, the Strait of Malacca, and the tri-border area, please go to stratfor.com.